Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is SCC and tonight we're going through the round 15 review, and as you can see I absolutely cooked. And when I say cooked, I mean cooked it, because it was a pretty hard round for my team, sadly. Probably those two trades I did for round 15 plays in the middle of buys wasn't the smartest move, but I wanted to get in on them when they were supposedly gonna start peaking with price. Didn't occur. Like if they gone 130s, I'd be sweet, or like something like that, but they didn't. So whether that's method or just luck, who knows? But anyway, we're through the buys. Lost some ranks, pretty much lost everything we gained back last week. So yeah, the seesaw is back, but hey, we're in an all right position going into the last part of the year, and hopefully we can finish this team off and see what we can do, because yeah, I'll look, the team's going to be done, but you know, is it the players I wish I had? No, I think my midfield's going to be pretty light compared to other teams, but you know, it was giving up a few things to be able to maybe fill out the team a little bit. And once you see what I did last week in the end with trades, you'll be thinking, what the heck was I thinking? And now that I think about it, after, you know, talking about the plans going into the week, I just can't believe I did it. I probably lost, definitely lost like 80 points at least, maybe 70, due to doing it. I don't know why I did it. I just, you'll see anyway. So let's just get into this and have a chat. So here was the team, and what pretty much occurred was we had no rookies last week, and that's probably what just absolutely like cooked me as far as team composition went, because without the good players, you just got cooked. And it was, of course, a week, you know, the week where I had more players than most teams, my premiums failed, and when I didn't have them, a lot of them went well. So got punished, and rightfully so. Look, I know the mistakes that were made. You know, going, you want to be flipping into. I kind of felt like I didn't really have primos to pick in those early ones that I actually wanted, because I'd got all the Freo guys really early, and even had Houston as well. And the only other port player was Butters, but he was a bit expensive. And then like I wasn't too hot on the Brisbane players, but it looks like they're probably the guys you should have gone on. And that left me with going, you know, Baker and Moore, which was, yeah, pretty hard decision. Probably should have just got on the round 12 guys, because I would have had 2 extra primos last week. Like if I'd gone, you know, I wouldn't have had the money necessarily, but if I'd gone, you know, well, I probably would have, because I wouldn't have got the player I did. But anyway, if I'd done that, you know, I would have had 2 extra primos last week, which probably would have been, you know, 100 points each. So this would have been like a 2100 instead of a 1900, because, you know, Baker and Moore don't play. And I instead have like a Dunkley who went like 140 and someone else. So, you know, lessons learned. I never said I was amazing at this game. I just like sharing it because I like talking about footy a lot, and sometimes make all right decisions. Anyway, getting into the team and what we did. So the whole plan was to get the primos up and hopefully have enough to work a Revel into Rosie. And what happened was I found, so pretty much what happened is I looked at the Carlton schedule and went, man, I want someone from Carlton. I don't have anyone. I kind of like antipoding Walsh. The rest of the midfielders don't really, like Cripps is real up and down. Didn't really talk to me. So then it's like, all right, what can we do? So there's forward line we could choose from, which was between Curnow and Mackay. And I was running the numbers and I was like, look, I'm thinking I might be able to get Rosie in 2 trades this week if I go Mackay. And it turned out to be bad. You know, I also looked at averages. Mackay did have a better average going into last week than Curnow did. I also thought Kerno might get a little bit more attention because he's normally the one that's more of a game breaker than what I would say Mackay is. Like Mackay's good, but like less of a game breaker. He also gets a bit of ruck time, so I thought that would work in his favour, especially because they might run the way TDK is playing. Why play Pitnet? You might as well just play Mackay, but like as the backup for when TDK needs a rest, and just let Tom go at it because they've been playing really well with him. He's fresh, young, and about time we got some more ruck choices outside of Grundy and Gawn. Although Tristan Jerry, he can't let him down either. He's been playing really well. So that's why I went Mackay, and then I watched Kerno go 120. Just was everywhere early, got early scaling. Mackay gave away a 50 in the first quarter. I think he was on like 5, and then he somehow, was able to work his way into a game with 3 goals. But, when you start that far behind, it's pretty hard. And, this is his second lowest score. So even like looking at his floor, it was like 62, and he'd only done that once. He'd really been going like 80s, 70s, 90s, which it's fine for the forward line. And I was thinking with maybe the potential to, potentially get an extra forward back here and then loop him on and try and get some big scores, because I know that like Baker and Moore are going to be pretty hit and miss. So it was kind of like, okay, what if we go Mackay and we can somehow get an extra, forward who's kind of half decent, and then we can loot them in the forward line. But yeah, it was, the 1 week that you have him go 68, and a lot of people, like quite a few brought in Kerno. Yeah, it's annoying because I guess like if you look at Mackay outside of kicking goals, he doesn't accumulate heaps. I mean, he's looking at his stats, like he's actually been pretty decent. I feel like maybe Geelong was a bit of a hard matchup. Like the one place they do fare pretty well at the moment is their defense. It's like a lot of, big guys like Henry and De Koning. So they have like a good build there, and, Stewart as well. It does make it a little bit harder for him. But yeah, so pretty much we had Mackay, he went bad. And then it was, well, what do? We got to get some, is it not have a score, or what can we do? So I had Brown and Hutchinson just because I needed the 102Ks to make the money and to be able to make the trades work. And then Brown was named sub, and I was pretty sure Hutchinson was going to be named sub as well, which meant it really didn't make a difference between the two. So I went, bugger it. We're going to have a bad week. Let's just go Brown, take the mid forward. If he doesn't play anymore, which I think he will because he had that big tackle in the last quarter that pretty much won them the game. I reckon they'll give him another chance maybe. Hopefully not sub. Not that it matters now anyway because we're full primo. But yeah, like I thought we'll just go Brown and then we'll figure out what we need to do. And then looking at what was there for next week, I was like, I want to get Dowling. I want to get Dowling. We want Dowling. So, but the cash isn't going to add up because Rosie had 111, which was annoying because if he had like anything lower than 100, I think it was fine. Money was going to build. Revel, if he could have got to like 65, 70, would have been great, but he got 61, which was still all right, but not quite enough. So then I was looking at it as like, what can I do? Because like if I bring on 102K in, he's going to make money. And then I was like, oh, surely Warner, like been playing pretty well. Surely he'll get, a game. He's going to make money, probably enough money that I could just flip him and do the Revel trade. 1 week. I know it's like a bit of a weird thing, but it's enough money. Because at the end of the day, we got the primos on the field. I don't really care about the rookies. If anything, I'd probably be trading a little bit for structure. So, yeah, and the reason I was probably not on Warner as well is because it just ruined structure and it kind of has made it a little bit hard. But I was like, this will work where I can still get Rosie and him. And that's the story of how I got Warner, who then in the end got named sub again as well. So yeah, the sub rule, what a shit rule. Like honestly, just get rid of it. Just put 5 on the bench. Like why do we need a sub rule? There is no benefit to the sub rule because for one, if a team does have an injury and a team doesn't, you just give them an extra player anyway. if there isn't a tactical sub, let's say, the other team gets an extra player come on, through the third quarter, and then the other team want to use the sub. So why not just give them the 5 players? We always see it where there is a tactical sub used and then someone gets injured and it's just pointless. You just lose that play and you got a healthy player sitting there who can't play now. So why do we have this tactical sub? And playing rookies on their first game like Kynan Brown and there's been other players who've been debuted through this. Like, what's the point? Just don't play them. It's a shit way to start your, Brown's in his first win where he's come on as a sub. And yes, he's had a big tackle that's won the game. But why are we doing it? Like, that's the way I want to remember it. I got 10 minutes in the last quarter for my first game. Like, and the fact that coaches do it is ridiculous. Like, not the first game. Just wait until they're ready. And, Kay McCullough, same thing happened with him. There's, others that went sub first as well. I just don't understand it. Let's just get rid of the sub rule, play 5 interchange. You got the interchange limit so they can't swap too many anyway. So why not just do that? I just don't understand the sub rule. It's just stupid and really makes this hard. But anyway, that's my rant about the sub rule. I'm sure I'm not the only Supercoach player who has that gripe at the moment because it's just annoying. You can see a player named and then they get named sub. And, it's not the first time either. Like Hewitt getting named sub for God knows what reason. Carlton did that when they needed a player that tag against Melbourne. I mean, they did win that game by a point, but wouldn't the tag have worked earlier? Oliver's been tagged out of games pretty early, so maybe they didn't see him as much of a threat because he has been a bit off this year. But anyway, that's the gripe. So let's get into it. So basically, Ryan underperformed, Clark outperformed him, which is always good for us because, we got the percentage there, lower percentage of ownership in Clark than Ryan. Sheasel, just doing Sheasel things, slowed down a bit in the last. Houston, 102, great. McGovern, probably the annoying thing about McGovern, and I've flagged it a few times, is the fact that McGovern doesn't run after the ball. He doesn't go look for the ball. Like, he's not a Ryan who's getting, running for marks, easy chips and stuff like that. He is if the marks are clunking, they're clunking and he scores well. And Barras then jumps in and wrecks that. And that's what he did most of the game in the second half because McGovern was at 80 or something like that. Something ridiculous at the end of the half and then ended up at 99. So that tells you how his gameplay goes a little bit. Houston down game as well. They got belted, so not much to say about that. And Logan Evans was probably the player to go for, but I don't think the cash would have made sense anyway. Flanders 117, great, but even with power back, we still see Sexton doing well, which is annoying because it just seems like there was someone else that was back there that just seemed to maybe not get as much of the ball. I can't remember who it was, but that pissed me off. Gordon 151, thanks mate. Was going to VC here, but went Grundy. And watched you go 41 disposals. Leisha scoring well, that's great, but everyone's got you. So what of it? Another VC miss. I thought maybe in the midfield they might put a bit of time into Gordon, but I guess it's Warner they all look at. And I thought Briggs lets score well, and 124 is good. But it wasn't 150. That would have been nice. Wrong. I didn't watch any of this Fremantle game. Wasn't really interested, to be honest. Tom Green back to his best. That's great. Nick Martin, he actually didn't get much of the ball, but he used it really well, so that's great. 112, we'll take that. And Revel, we already spoken about Kynan Brown. 21 in 10 minutes of the last quarter is great anyway. I just decided to throw it at Gawn. I didn't really care. I thought, you know what, he could go big against North. I'm at least thinking it's going to be 100 plus, so let's just get on Gawn and see if we can, if we salvage a 170 from Gawn or something like that, at least that gives us an extra, 50 points. And at least, the most I was going to lose, I thought maybe 10 to 15 points, which is, I lost 10 points, which I was fine with taking the risk on that because I watched Gawn just destroy me. It was at the MCG as well, where he's been scoring really well, so I thought I might as well just go it. And he was on 90 at the end of the third or something like that. So I thought he might get to a 130, 140, which is going to be great. He's 105 really early in the last, but they just got belted in that last quarter, which didn't help him. North probably should have won that game. Another one that bites the dust for them. Heaney and Zorko are reliable, continuously scoring, and we've spoken about Mackay. So now that you've heard all that, let's lead us to the trades. And I thought it was going to be real cut and dry, and this was going to be an easy week because I'd had the plan, and that's why I traded around this plan to finish with 4 primos. But it would seem that there is always another option. So, and there's probably another option to think about as well now looking at this. But so the first option that I'm thinking of is we're going. So we could put McKercher here, and then we could go Dowling. That gets Dowling, and then we could go Revel and get Rosie. Leaves us with cash. Leaves us with the player we wanted. Get it done. Forward line is as it is. And the only thing we've got to work out is how we get Flanders back into the forward line. So that's probably the issue with this one. Although, yeah, as you can see, that seemingly fixes it. All right, so this is kind of what I was looking at. Now, my problem with this is, one, McKercher gets put on field for Rosie. So that shows you where Rosie's projection is looking like. Yep, lower. Other things I had kind of wrong with this, right? So I'm feeling like there's too many options here in my midfield, which would be nicer to have. You know, you want an M, maybe M9, and then Dowling maybe being able to float into the forward line. Now, because of this setup, I can't, which is annoying. And also, annoyingly enough, Richmond and Carlton play late, and so do Hawthorn against West Coast. So can't even loop Baker into these guys, so that's great as well. It's looking like realistically, I look at looping, like I think Flanders, Heaney, Zorko, even Rankin to a degree are going to go all right. So, although Crosby, GWS, so I could probably maybe look at looping Rankin. But then the only guy I could got to loop with, actually I can't even loop Rankin because Collingwood play earlier with Richards, and he could be back anyway. I think it's a very real opportunity. So yeah, that's that. Now, if McKercher isn't back, I'm going to be fucking annoyed because I held him for so long and he didn't help at all over the buys. I thought we're going to have McKercher over the buys. It's going to be brilliant. And then he played VFL last week, and we're going to check those stats because I believe he played VFL and he was available, but they didn't pick him because they played well. God. Yes, Zach Fisher is the decision back there. Yes, for the future of North Melbourne. I know they played well, but God, surely play your number 2 pick. You know, get the games into him. Wardlaw playing really well now. Sheasel played well from the start, so get McKercher in there and do the same. So that's like plan 1. But like as you can see, leaving a bit of good players on the bench, and not much else to go to. So instead, what we could do is we could look to update this. And what I would do instead is let's optimize this now and see how it puts it. All right, so we got, it's pretty much the same, but let's instead trade McKercher and trade Revel. And you're going to say, oh, but McKercher, he's so good. Like, yeah, but what if they don't give him the role back? Like, Fisher's been playing well in the role, and Clarko, I know Clarko does like to move the magnets around a bit because we saw Tom Power back there this week. But I just don't know. McKercher's injury could be worse. We'll check the VFL. Let's check. Did he play? I don't know. Didn't follow it. He pissed me off. Let's have a look. And anyway, because this could make the decision easy. If he didn't play, he can get effed. What do we got? Where are you? McKercher. He isn't playing for... All right, so he had 31 disposals. Yeah, I feel like he's going to be in next week. That tells me 108 fantasy. What was it for Supercoach? Surely big score. Doesn't tell you. Damn. Is there anywhere we can find this? There probably is, but I'll not be bothered. Actually, does Fan Footy do it? No, not Fan Footy. What's the Colby Mercuria Supercoach? All right. Yeah, Footy Wide. Footy Wide do it. Career games, maybe games. They do it here, don't they? They tell you. Only. What about VFL? Thought they did VFL on here. Maybe not. Maybe I was not watching properly. Profile. Okay, maybe I was wrong, but yeah, that bodes to keeping him all right. So anyway, looking at this, I could still do Dowling and then get any primo I want, and that's what's really really moving me in, because I kind of like, or really like, the play for Dunkley at the moment. His Brisbane are playing really well. And Dunkley's safe from a tag, it feels like, every week. He's 96 break even, so he could wait. But, like, if I do this, right, if I optimize this, right, look who goes on the bench. Jordan Dawson on the bench. You wouldn't have read about it. So we go Mackay, Baker. I mean, this is the forward line at this point. But what I would like to do is somehow at some point get Dawson up to here for Warner, and then Warner can go to, I don't know, someone who make me some cash. What's his break even? It'd be high now because of that score. Yeah. Oh no, it's a 3. That's actually not bad. Be the week after, wouldn't it? With this 19 in there. We'll go to 48. But then it should reset, assuming he gets. But anyway, you need a big score. And I don't think he's going to get a game anyway, so. Although, yeah, because he's not like for like with who got injured, so no. And I don't even know how bad the injury was. So this is something as well. But Dawson on the bench doesn't feel great. Although if Kynan Brown doesn't get a game, it wouldn't be too bad, like looping maybe Dawson with Green, if that's possible, which it is. So, no, it's not, because they play at the same time. Yes. Every loop I look at. So looping him with, and Martin plays at the same time. God damn. Can't get a win today. Yeah, so all the loops are, just scuff around 16 for me. But that's all right. So this is another option. Do I like the option? Not really. Because looking at those McCurch stats, looks like he's primed to come back. But I do like Dunkley. And I think Brisbane have got a nice run home now. A lot more opened up run home than what it was before. So realistically, I should just go for Rosie. All right. What's the best way to do it? Yeah, I wonder if I go like, no, this is actually not bad. So if I go this and then go Dowling, and then you're down there, and then Rosie. Now that's probably the best way to do it, isn't it? Because realistically, we get this nicely fixed. We get Rosie on here. We get, what's Captain Flanders do? Hang. So this is probably the best, isn't it? McCurch plays early as well, so I could look to loop him, but like I don't really have any players not playing, so what I would have to do, there's no way to really do it, but it is good cover. I could loop maybe the forward line, could I? No, Dawson plays too early, so I can't. So yeah, it's scuffed. Yeah, this week's just horrendous for my loops, honestly. But yeah, this would leave us with 2 trades. pretty much finished mid, team. I guess. I mean, decent cover though. Like at least we got like a Baker and a McKercher, who can loop. And McKercher can also. I mean, sorry, not McKercher. Baker can cover the back line, and also I can use trades each week or optimize to cover with McKercher through the back line as well. So that's always good. And I guess it's always just going to come down to the need of the team at the time. Like, realistically, what would be best right now is probably Dawson down there, Flanders up. So let's see if we optimize here, what's it do? Just puts McKercher on field. So they're pretty happy with this. I don't know why Baker goes here because Essendon play there. So if I were to loop, who would I loop? One of the Fremantle boys, but they're going to play well. Looping Nas wouldn't be the worst, to be honest. But no, I can't do that either because he plays after Essendon. So it's just an absolute scuff round for my cover. Zach Reed, I should have moved him on earlier. I just feel like he's wasting space. Like this could be, if this was a mid defender, like the team would just be unreal for moving around. Like that's all I'm missing. A mid defender here somewhere would really make it easy to move around. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. But really unsure. I don't know. Like, I don't know what other plans there really are with the money I have. I just know I want to get the team done. I wonder if we go here, is there like any way to unscuff this? Because if Martin goes there, it's just the same thing. It's just the same thing as having McKercher there. So it doesn't really matter. If Richards was mid forward, that would be nice. I don't think he's got any chance of getting it though, does he? DPP's come out. They come out next week. 2 weeks time, and he won't have played enough. He has to play 6 games, and he's played 3. Does he? Even if he plays 3, does round 18 count? That would be nice. If he could play the next 3, that would be great. But I think Collingwood have got a few backs in. So realistically, I just think this is it. If I want to trade McKercher later, I can. There's nothing really else you can do, right? If you had a third trade, it'd be interesting to see what you could do with Warner, but if I put you there, it's just getting a forward, like, not worth it. I'd want to get a mid. I'd want to get a mid. We can't move you 2 up here. This Richards pick has just been absolutely scuffed. If I had Sullivan, it'd be so much better. Why don't I go Sullivan? Oh, for one, Sullivan played the whole time through the bloody buys. 2, he's mid. Oh no, he's not mid forward. He's shaping towards mid forward though, I believe. So, that would have been good. But anyway, the more I look at it, the more I think it's going to just be this Rosie Dowling. The only other thing is I just skipped Dowling, but I just think he's going to be too good not to have. And I still have 2 trades left, right? So with my 2 trades, there's potential that later on with Richards playing, and possibly McKercher playing and making some money, we could get an extra midfielder. But is it better to just like upgrade like a Green or a Dawson? It would be good to get McGovern up, maybe. I don't really love that pick. I feel like there's points being lost there. But anyway, that is something to think about. What's the forward line looking at? Jai Caldwell went off again, and he's getting nice midfield time. And I feel like he's entrenched in that midfield. You can't say that about a lot of players. So it's Jackson. So Ruckman I should go for. He just sat around this 500k mark. Like, Jackson's price doesn't move because he goes these big scores, then 3 4, 5, 6, 7 average scores where his price finally starts to move down, makes a heap, loses a bit, then he has this 150, and then it keeps his bloody scoring high, and then he gets a 115, which also stops it. So I don't know. Caldwell seems like the guy, doesn't he? Probably seems like the one that we've missed. Cripps has been playing well. I don't care about Fisher. I'm happy to miss that. Although defender forward status would be nice. That's probably the only thing that would win me over. The fact that I can move him and Baker between forward line and defense. Caldwell, that mid forward, that's tasty. Got a good matchup as well coming up. But like this is pretty average. Then he had this big score against Adelaide, and all midfielders go well. Collingwood, West Coast, he was actually pretty average against the Optus, but they played really well there. And that's like, yeah, you're going 88.4. That's actually not bad. And then he's just been like consistent. 90, 103, 80, 88, 94. Like last week was his big game. Wonder what his 5 round is. 96, which is probably what you're expecting from him. Just a little bit lower than this top echelon, I would say. And Rankin's been improving, especially because they're going to give him more bid time. So if I was to go for Caldwell, how would I get him in? So it's probably going to be... I think that it's a little bit pointless because I've got nice defend mid. Like McKercher covers lines nicely. So does Dowling and Rosie. So it's like what I really need to do is once Richard kind of see out just getting like a mid forward loop and then swapping it. And then that just gives me full movement and maybe trading Reed. I don't know if I need Primos anymore. I mean, the only ones is like flipping some of the bad ones, and I guess like probably what my team's missing, I would suggest, is the fact that my midfield's pretty light on compared to what other midfields would look like. The Rankin forward line picks is kind of niche-ish. I think his ownership's pretty high. 5% are getting you in this week, so he's not the pod he was at the start of the season. 7%, so still 12%. That's like still very good. 5% getting him in. Who are we missing? So people training out. Dawson. People are training out. How many? 0.7 doesn't count. So I think there's a little bit of loop action happening here. 0.3 is sending Mackay out. So that's good. Ari Shellmaker, the one we're missing. A lot of people on Kerno. Now, I think that Kerno's fine. But yeah, these scores are actually pretty good. But like he has had some lows. I guess his form's definitely better than Mackay's looking at this. Just that 159 which let his score drift a bit. But I think they should both go all right. I think this Richmond game they should both score well. Probably Charlie better because he's a bit more mobile. Not sure about their big men mobility. I think they've got strength. Bolter, probably good matchup on Mackay, you think. But this is pretty good. GWS for no Taylor, so that's good for both of them. Dogs, that's probably a hard matchup. Keith and Jones there would be hard. North should be easy. Port, very easy. Mackay will destroy their defense the way they're playing at the moment. Collingwood, Darcy Moore, but like this is going to be a big game. Should be close, so they both should do all right. Hawthorn should be all right. West Coast, St Kilda, so they got some good games coming up. But anyway, that's enough of the rambling. Hope you've enjoyed looking at the team, looking at the players. So I'll just quickly let's have a look at maybe break evens for some primos. Everyone's probably finishing their team, but Tom De Koning, the highest. Then you got Yo, and if you don't think he's going to break down, and he does look pretty healthy, and he did sign a big contract, so they think he's pretty healthy. You could go there because main mid for them. Sinclair, who's been playing really good in his role. I don't know about Whitfield. Houston's good. Sicily, I actually think Sicily's all right if you trust his shoulder, because they've got a nice run coming home, especially for defenders. I feel like Geelong might be a little bit hard, but I feel like he should be fine. Then Fremantle's good for defenders. Collingwood, Adelaide, like this is a nice run. LDU, man, has he come good? Very nice. They're playing good football, so that's good for him. Roy Laird's a cheap option if you believe in him. The good thing about him is, and he did have a big game the last one out. No Matt Crouch. So whatever you get from him, probably going to be a little bit better. Probably unlikely to go. I reckon they'll switch things up a little bit. He might get a bit more backline role. Merritt, I think this is great. I think although he'll get some tags, I think he's always shown he's been kind of good enough to break him, and it's pretty hard to argue with these scores. He's had 2 scores under 100, and they were 90s, one high 90. The rest, when he goes 100, he's going like 125 plus a lot of the time, so that should be good. I don't know about Jack Crisp. Probably just leave that. That's probably like a middle of the season move. Hayden Young, I mean, he's been playing well, obviously, but I just dislike him for his start of the year. Dunkley, I reckon Dunkley, if I was picking someone, I think he's the one. Look at this game. Neil Bullen's going to go to Neil. Then he's got the Crows, and then he's got West Coast, and Yo will just go probably match up. Although I think he matches up with Yo pretty well. Sydney, Jordan's going to go to Neil. Gold Coast, he'll just go off against them. St Kilda, pretty easy one. Windhager, go to Neil again. Then GWS, Collingwood, Essendon. Like, it's just he's protected by Neil, and even Zorko against St Kilda to a degree, because he tore them open last game as well. Will Day I actually like as well, because they've got a good run home. As much as it annoys me, Dale has been playing well. Libba always seems to be up there. Wouldn't touch Parrish. He's still injured anyway. Wonder if he'll be discounted next year, like actually a decent discount seeing his injuries. Walshy, they've got a good run, so if you want to go there, but he just seems to waste the ball a little bit. And otherwise, it's pretty unique. You're trying to go from here. So let's talk quickly about VC options, because the trade plans are probably what they're going to be right now. So there's probably not much changing them. So let's have a talk about VCs. I think if you've got Dunkley, Brisbane's pretty good. Bont, I think Bont against North is who I'll look at. They could tag with Phillips, I guess, but I feel like Bont's a bit big for him. And then like if you have Libba or Trelaw, because they won't get the attention, they're probably good here as well. Don't mind Sheasel as an option. SCG game, I wouldn't touch the 2 Fremantle boys. Sarong could be good, loves the contested ball. So could I'm not sure about Gordon. I don't know how he plays there. I don't know if he does extremely well. Flanders could be good against Collingwood if you wanted a cheeky VC that's a bit different. I wouldn't mind that, as well as any of their mids, because Collingwood like to go head-to-head with mids. Or Dacos could be all right as well. I don't think they're going to try and tag him, so he could be good. Tommy Green against Adelaide, I think that's good shout. I think he liked scoring against them as well. They played early on in the season, didn't they? Yeah. He had 134 against them last year, so I feel like he could replicate that. And then going to captains, there's probably more captain zone. I think that, Merritt would be good against Geelong, because they're old, getting very old, and their midfield doesn't tag, and I think he'll be too fast around the ball, probably for them. Like maybe not for Holmes, but the rest of them. St Kilda, Port, I wouldn't. Oh, Butters could be injured, right? If Butters is injured, that doesn't make Rosie the most like culpable player to pick, because they're gonna tag him, aren't they? Oh, they could tag Horn Francis, I guess. Like Rosie's coming off injury, maybe not. St Kilda, don't really like anyone there. Carlton, if you've got Walsh, this could be a good pick for a captain. Probably wouldn't captain anyone else. And then Hawthorn West Coast, Sicily could be good. Yo, like that. And Day wouldn't be too bad either, I don't think. So any of that. But I think I'll probably VC Bont into a captain of maybe. Dawson doesn't have a very good 126, so not great. 126, 97, 94. I'd probably go VC Bont into maybe who Melbourne play. Actually, I could VC Gawn into a captain of Bont, I think. As which will work for me because Dawson definitely won't play. So will Reed actually. So I just need to make sure that the VC's like I don't. Gawn's got a ridiculously good 138, 215, and this 0 he got injured like straight away. So if you take that out, he's averaging what 160 against them, 170 over the last 2 games. So I think that's a good shout into Bont. I'll back him to take on a Phillips tag, especially at Marvel. Bont loves Marvel. So anyway, sorry for another long one, but especially with no trades, bit of crap, but hopefully you got a little bit out of that. And we'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll be moving back up the ranks and can close in on maybe a top 5K. Who knows? Anyway, hopefully there's no injuries. Hopefully our players go well, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.